Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I am making a Crayola video. I know I'm a few years late for the hype of the Crayola art challenge, but these Crayola twistable crayons have been on my list for something to make a video about for quite a long time. Now they caught my eye at a recent trip to Officeworks and I couldn't help myself. I had to buy them because yeah, I've been wanting to make this video for ages. Now these crayons were all the rage when I was a kid. If you had the normal crayons, you were boring. These twistable crayons were the coolest thing other than connector pens. You probably know what they are. They're basically normal crayons, however they're inside this sort of plastic shell with a spring in it. And basically when you twist the end, the crayon comes out. Kind of like a lipstick or, you know, anything like that, like a glue stick. They were really fun to use when I was a kid because you never really needed to sharpen them all that much, and because of the hard plastic outer casing, they would never snap or break. Unless you're like me and you wanted to twist the whole thing out just to see what it looks like. So as all art supply journeys begin, we are starting with swatching. I just wanted to see what these crayons look like in the beginning before I actually went into an artwork. And overall the colours are actually pretty nice for crayons. To be honest, I'm not overly surprised because these are Crayola, and for like affordable / children's art supplies, Crayola is usually on the sort of higher tier. Now this pack I have here today is just a 24 pack, but I feel like it's pretty good. I do have a few versions of each color, and that is really good for things like when you want to blend, and I really appreciate that. So I read recently that you can actually use some solvents to blend crayons, and I really wanted to test this out myself. I know you can do the same thing with baby oil, however I don't have a baby, so we don't have any baby oil in the house. But the solvents I decided to test because I had them at hand were methylated spirits, turpentine, and acetone. And yeah, the methylated spirits and the acetone did barely anything, but the terps was actually the winner and it worked pretty well. I was even able to layer more crayon over the top after I used a bit of terps to dissolve it, which was really cool. So for today's subject matter, it actually took me a while to decide on what I wanted to draw, but I actually came up with the idea of drawing some cats in a pot plant. I kind of want to draw like a big pot plant with like some little cats inside and just make it kind of cheeky and cute. I'm not sure I want to go into something too ambitious because at the end of the day these are crayons that I'm using, and yeah, my last cheap art supply challenge video did not go so well, but I feel like this one's going to be better. I have higher hopes for this, but then again that's what I said in my last one. Ugh. So now I have a little base sketch of this plant here. There's no actual branches on the plant, but that's okay. So I'm sketching in this cat now, and I kind of want it to be like sort of disproportionate to the plant. I want it to look like tiny almost, as if maybe this is like a normal sized plant and like really tiny cats. Or maybe like a really big plant, like maybe a small tree in a pot and then like normal sized cats. I don't know, but that's just my rough idea. So his pose here is basically just like he's laying down lazily as cats do, and I think it's pretty cute. So now we have most of the cats here roughly sketched out, and this last one I'm doing, I kind of want to do in like an arch sort of stretch position. Kind of like he just woke up and he's doing a bit of a sort of stretch. I love when cats do that. I think it's cute. I've decided to do 4 cats here, mainly because there isn't much room left over in the pot, but also, I don't know, I felt like maybe doing some in the branches, but I felt like it would just be a little bit too busy, especially for these crayons. I'm not even sure how well they're actually gonna do with details, so yeah. So now the sketch is pretty much all done here. Now there's just one thing to do. I'm going to lighten this sketch a little bit with my eraser. Now probably would have used my kneadable eraser, but I can't actually find that, so we're going to use a normal one today and just hope I don't erase too much of it. Okay, here is the sketch. Now I've erased quite a lot of it, but I can still see the lines, so that's good. Now I'm just going in with these reds here. I have two different red colors, I believe red and scarlet. One of them is more of a cool red and the other is more of a warm sort of orangey red. Now I'm using two different reds because I kind of want a little bit of a hue shift and a gradient in this pot plant here. Now I've decided on red because I want this to have slight Christmassy undertones because it is now December. But I don't want this to be an all-out, you know, Christmas artwork, so it's going to be subtle. Now I do have to admit, before I actually started drawing, I decided to check out some videos on YouTube just to get some little tips and tricks so I don't screw up my artwork like last time I did an affordable art supply video. I'm still salty. But anyways, I came across this video by Echo Gillette and she had quite a few tips for coloring and drawing with crayons, and I just really kind of loved that video, so I'm going to put it in the link in the description. But yeah, one of the tips she said was use multiple colors like I'm using now, but she also had this cool idea to scrape with a little sort of sculpting tool just to get that wax off. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet, but we'll see. Now time to go in with the leaves. Now I'm actually going to make these leaves sort of a yellowy, orangey, sort of gold kind of look, just because I didn't want to add too much green into this illustration. But yeah, in Australia during Christmas time, it's actually summer here and we have some pretty intense heat waves, and a lot of the time the leaves and the trees and stuff sort of go yellowy, and you know, the grass goes yellowy and it kind of looks like it's dying, and yeah, it's kind of sad, but to be honest, that's summer in Australia. So that's my excuse today for doing orange leaves on a plant when it's supposed to be sort of Christmassy but sort of not. But this is mainly just because I wanted to add more color into this illustration. Yeah. But I'm actually really enjoying using these crayons. I love the brightness of them, and that red pot just looks so vibrant to me, and the wax feels really good and nice. Of course I'm not surprised because these are Crayola brand and Crayola is pretty good. I'm very happy with Crayola. It's not really an artist quality brand, however I do have a bit of a soft spot for them. So now it's kitty cat time, and I'm actually a little bit nervous with this one because I really don't want to mess up these cats because they are the main focal part of this illustration. But as you can see here, I am making this cat and I'm starting off with just a little bit of black, and later on I'm going to be using a bit of brown and grey and probably white because I kind of want to make this a bit of a stripy grey cat. With the colours here, I don't have overly a large amount of natural colours, so I am just probably going to layer over a few in different sort of you know, colours and thicknesses and stuff. Like here I'm doing a really light layer of black, and yeah, we're gonna draw some cats and hopefully I don't screw it up. So for this kitty here, I kind of want to do a bit of a ginger cat, mainly to push those warm colours, but also because I love ginger cats and I have a ginger cat myself, Pumpkin, and she's a beautiful cat. So yeah, I do have some nice orange crayons here, but none of them are overly dark, so I am using a bit of brown first to sort of get a bit of a shading layer underneath the orange. Now my ginger cat has green eyes, so I gave this little guy here green eyes too. So I was planning on colouring in the inside of the pot brown, however I realised I only have a few, limited colours here, and I don't want that brown cat to disappear. So as you can see, I am adding in black instead, which isn't too weird because a lot of the time I have potting mixes because I do gardening myself, and a lot of the potting mixes that are really good are actually quite dark. So this black here should work pretty well and is probably going to make these cats pop out and just make them look really vibrant, contrast and all of that. Now it is still looking a bit bare, so I'm going to do something scary. Let's just draw a big colourful border around the outside. And I'm doing pink because warm colour palette, yeah. So now that most of the base colours are down, I'm going to add in some terps here with my little paintbrush. I think it's going to be good to add a little bit more softness to this illustration and just blend it out a little bit more, and also get rid of that weird sort of waxy, bloomy, weird effect over the top of the drawing. So let's dive into that. This is actually working pretty well. It's not overly obvious, but it does give the colours a nicer look and just allows me to blend it just a little bit more. I do feel like this paintbrush is a little bit too soft for it, but for that border I'm probably going to switch to a harder, larger paintbrush. So here is the moment of truth. I've got my big paintbrush and let's test this. And wow, that's actually working quite a bit. If you look at that, wow, that's actually, yeah, I like this. God, this is interesting commentary, isn't it? Wow. But I am actually liking this. It is giving it a little bit more of a watercolor effect. This is actually reminding me of the water soluble oil pastels that I used in a previous video. They sort of had the similar sort of waxy but watery effect. I like it. I'm sort of going a little bit overboard, but I hope it turns out. Okay, so now that I've blended most of that out and I've gotten rid of most of that weird waxy coating over the top of the crayons, as you can see here, I am adding in some details. Now I'm just outlining this pot because I feel like it could just do with a little bit more, detail on it. I don't really like how it's just a flat, well, almost flat color. And of course soon I'm gonna go in and add those details on those cats' faces. So I've made a few mistakes here, there are quite a few smudges, but it's okay because I have this lovely acrylic paint that I'm just going to paint right over those mistakes and cover them up because I don't want to ruin this artwork. I think it's pretty cute. I like this artwork. It kind of reminds me of a storybook illustration. I really like the sort of, you know, sketchy kind of style and the obvious like crayon artworkness of it. I like it. Okay, so last bit of detail here. I like these pink sort of borders, but I feel like I want to add a bit of a pattern on them just because they could do with a little bit of, you know, sprucing up. So what I'm just going to do is add some little paw prints for the cats and just some swirly sort of curly lines, maybe to like be like a cute little frame around this artwork. I think it's going to look good. So here are the final results, and I actually really like this illustration. These twistable crayons are quite fun and interesting to use, and definitely a lot better than the Kmart paint pens, I will say that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please smash like and subscribe to get your scribble fix in the future. My name is Sarah, and I love you all, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye everyone.